Hey, live from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and Saturday night. How you doing, folks? This is Jeff with District with JTT. Give me 30 seconds. Gonna let my fiance know about I'm live streaming, so she'll be worried. So, how's everybody's Saturday going? And according to the weather, it is 46 degrees, and right now it's officially June. Is it me? It feels like we skipped summer. Feels like fall weather. The one thing I expect to happen is the leaves to fall off. And when that happens, I'm going to get worried. Hold on a sec here. Okay. As far as folks, like I said, the weather's crazy. So if you guys, okay, do me a favor. Anybody from maybe from California to New York, if you're experiencing actual summertime weather, let me know. I know Florida is experiencing summertime weather. I know somebody in Arizona, Texas is experiencing summertime weather. But anybody else is experiencing, say, this fall weather in June, well, at least late May, early June, let me know, please. Hit me up. Where do I begin? Rants, of course. Right now, we going into June, and I want someone to pass on a message to President Trump. And I know some people don't want to hear about it, but I'm going to bring it up one more time. Internationally, and I got one thing's going to bring some people saying, do you really want to bring it up, Jeff? And I say, we have to. Mr. President Trump, Mr. President, please open up an investigation on what really happened in Benghazi that resulted in the death of a U.S. ambassador there and several American soldiers who died there as well. Just the fact you try to have these gag orders with people not to speak their truths and all that stuff, come on. Please, sir, I know you opened up some files what happened with Kennedy and other things, but the government try to have sealed up permanently and try to make it open for the public to see. Please do the same for Benghazi for the sake of the people who lost their lives there and for the sake of the U.S. ambassador who lost his life there as well. Please make sure the truth about Benghazi is known. That's one. Two, this is more domestic. Mr. President, make paternity tests mandatory. All 50 states as well as protectorates. Tests has shown that for every time that a man gets tested for paternity of his child, for every time he does get tested, over 30% of them are not the father. Keywords, 30%, not 3%, not 5%, not 10%. 30% prove they're not the father at any given time around the world. So make it mandatory. That way, you take the burden away from the man who suspects the kids may not be his. Because we're in a situation right now that the man so much is ask his, his wife, fiance, and girlfriend that, hey, can I get a paternity test to prove this to my kid? They would go super defensive. And these women will go so far and say, yes, I will give you, I'll let you test my kid, but if you get the results and the kid is yours, I'm going to divorce you. Why would you do that? Or it's a trust issue. It's not a trust issue. How about a confirmation issue? Simple as that. That way, this tells me that you don't care about the man's peace of mind. Now, this is one thing I want to say, though, if I got to emphasize on something. If this is a situation like say, if you and your man had a rough patch and you were cheating, I think the man had a right to demand a paternity test before you make him pay for child support. I've seen too many videos of guys paying child support. Not it could go like for 1, 2, all the kids he's paying child support for are not even his. Another thing, Mr. President, the child support courts hold them liable too because they are pushing for these men to pay for child support, even though it's not their kids, so they can get a cut of the money. Because like just like women demand abortion care, I think men should demand mandatory paternity rights. Here's the funny thing: other women think so too. It's not fair for a man who, if like say, if he's not the one who's not the father of the kids, what about the actual father? The wrong men are getting punished, and it has to stop. Simple as that. Hopefully, it passes on to Mr. President Trump, J.D. Vance, anybody else who's involved with who's working closely with Donald Trump. Hopefully, this will get to him. Please, sir, like I said, please shed light to what happened in Benghazi, and please pass a bill to make sure mandatory paternity tests is mandatory, and most importantly, those who are involved in paternity fraud, especially the mothers, should be penalized and hit with serious jail time. Not 1, 2, 3 days, not 1, 2, 3 weeks, not even 1, 2, 3 months. No, how about 1, 3 years? There have been men who've been thrown in prison for non-payment on child support. Just saying. And that's it for my rant. Okay, next would be the commentary. This we have a little fun with here. This I gotta find one because there's like 2 of them. But the first one I gotta talk about, the one that I did earlier today. It's pretty funny. I'm probably gonna upload that later on at some point today. But when I saw this, I go like, you cannot be serious. But you guys need to believe it. Because unfortunately, you got some of these, like I said, not all women are messed up, but you got some of these modern women got this ridiculous, infinite sense of self. It's just downright ridiculous. Let's start off with this one I call, this is like from, like I said, for 2023, is from, I call this the 23-year-old influencer who claims to be too hot to fund a boyfriend. This is part 1. I thought I'd see some interesting ones here, but this one make it go, wow. This out. If you see this at me, I'm probably on doing a live stream right now. This had been recorded earlier. This is something I saw while I was looking at YouTube, and I'm on like, you can't be serious. And I found it on Daily Mail. This is from, if I'm correct, it's been published at March 15th, 2023 at 16:12 or like 4:12 p.m. This is what it says here. I'm too hot to get a boyfriend. LA influencer 24 claims her incredible beauty has stopped her finding love because men are so intimidated by her looks, they're scared to ask her out. Oh boy, let me try to keep my cool about this. I'm going like, really? This screams ego. That screams ego to the 10th level. This is, okay, this person's name, this influencer is called Hope Schwing. Seriously, it's called Hope Schwing. 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 I can't take this person. I can't take that person seriously. From LA, that explains everything. Describes herself as chronically single. Gee, I wonder why. It's not your beauty that's keeping you single. How about your attitude? You could be universe on a scale of 9 to 10. If your attitude, spirit, heart, and soul is a 1 and 2, good luck finding a man. You're going to find legions and legions of simps who want you, and I'm going to promise you, you don't want those simps. I bet money, I bet my life, you want the top tier man because you're so beautiful. I deserve a man who's a 9, at best a 10. You're not, the only way you get any guy in the highest value unless he's a super simp. But I digress. Goes on to say, she posted a tongue-in-cheek video on TikTok saying it's because of her looks. I'm going to try and find that video so I can laugh at it. According to her, men are extremely intimidated by her incredible beauty. Oh my goodness. This is from, of course, the Daily Mail. Goes on to say an influencer has gone viral after claiming she's too hot to get a boyfriend, claiming on minutes so intimidated by her looks, they're scared to ask her out. They're not scared by your beauty, ma'am. They're scared of catching a charge. Have you forgotten? Let me remind you and other modern women like you. You've been telling us for not months, not years, decades. You don't want us. You don't need us. Don't talk to you. Don't approach you. Don't even think about looking your direction. There's a video somewhere of a woman complaining that the construction workers are no longer catcalling them. They're going like, oh, come on, fellas. That's a little something to boost my confidence. So you're not getting enough attention for your social media? Now going back to Hope Schwing. It goes on to say the chronically single influencer says that she's an independent and doesn't feel the urges to settle down. You know what? She will be ran through like a track meet on the Olympics. However, her dating life was thrust into the spotlight when she posted a video of herself blaming her good looks for her lack of partner. It's not her looks, it's your attitude, it's your heart, it's your spirit, it's your soul. They all suck in the worst way. In the clip, she looks downcast as the text reads, "No one talks about how hard it is to be literally so hot that you can't get a boyfriend. Because all the men extremely intimidated by and scared of you. Because hot is an honest a curse." Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Maybe if you stop making it about your beauty and looking inside your heart, spirit, and soul, you'd be surprised how many men you will attract. But I'll go one step better, you know. I look like from the YouTube page. I can't show it here at the moment, but I'll show you some of the comments I read, and I'm going like, and I say, yes, spot on. For example, one says, not intimidated. I could tell by looking at her, she has a massive ego, is super high maintenance, no kidding, has a huge sense of entitlement, and would be an absolute nutcase. You forgot, sir, to add nightmare. The way her attitude is, and her entitlement is, and all, that's nightmare fuel. Go on. Next one says, she has definitely found her true love. Herself. There's no... Before I forget, my friend Brad Schaefer's on the air. What's up, Brad? How you doing, buddy? Let's continue the video. Idea. There's a woman heard who married herself. I find it funny. And she's one of those women saying like, I'm doing it because I want to make myself happy. How long before she be unhappy with herself and divorce herself? I gotta find that one. I will crack up if that's the case. They're not intimidated, they're cautious, bordering on adverse to the inherent risk you bring to his current peaceful life. Men is about having a peaceful life. Yes, you can say men have a male loneliness syndrome. Yes, it does exist, but here's a choice. Being lonely or having a woman like her to make you want to unalive yourself. Yeah, I'd rather be alone, but have peace. At least if you're lonely, at least you have a chance to have peace for yourself. Okay, that hurts. This one says she's a 3. She looks like... Whoa! Bruh. I'm going to find it, and I'm going to post it on here tonight for the live stream. It says here, she's a 3. She looks like Roseanne when she's older. Bro, that hurt. That's brutal, bro. Come on. I know you understand you tough for her, but that's brutal. Come on, that's brutal. Come on. Man. There's 4 replies. I gotta check this out. Hold on. Okay. Oh my word. Okay, in replies to like she's a 3, she looks like Roseanne when she's older. The first reply was, Roseanne looks better than Madonna does now. Man, these comments are violent. Dude. Now, next one says, no, that's a low bar. Bruh, you did not just say that. I gotta find it and post it up there. Oh my word. Next one, I know, but who would have figured it would have ended up that way? Dude, that's savage. Last one, you should have kept your feelings for Roseanne tight. People don't understand that type of love. Dude, Dude, that is just savage, bruh. Oh my word. Okay, this replies to not intimidated, and goes on like this. He says, "Well, this reply to not intimidated. I could tell by looking at her that she has a massive ego, a super high maintenance, has a huge sense of entitlement, and would be an absolute nutcase." And one person said, "Nail it." The next person says, "Also being above average in looks is nothing special. It's the attractive ones that have the looks, and these attractive men and women, what the heck it says here, are so like less than 1% of human history." So basically, she's not all that. But to compare to Roseanne, and when she's older, dude, that hurts. That is brutal. I mean, man, that's just brutal. Okay, this one here is interesting. I'm gonna like wrap this up and then post it because I'm going like, wow. You guys see this like what I'm gonna talk about this later on, but I gotta wrap this up. This is funny. Scared to spend money, catch an STD, and being accused of something you imagine? Yes. Here's the thing, he's not really scared of spending money. We're not gonna spend it on her because she's not worth the investment. Catch an STD? Yeah, because like I said, she been ran through more than a tunnel during rush hour. So catch an STD is not that far-fetched. And accuse of something you have imagined. Yeah. And don't you dare tell me you women don't do that. Oh, yes, you do. Unbelievable. Okay, last comment. She's a 10 on right, a 10 on the BS meter. Wow. So, folks, what do you think about this? This woman who's too hot to find a boyfriend, I'm going to post a link to it so you can see it for yourself. Until then, folks, I see you tonight in the live stream. Peace. Wow. That's all I'm going to say. Wow. It's kind of mean. She said, like, she trying to say, I'm too beautiful for your average man. I'm too beautiful for your regular folks. You know what she must be saying? I know you remember that video for Right Said Fred. I'm too sexy for my shirt. I'm just gonna find the video just for giggles and all that stuff because I'm going like that's the attitude she says like, God, she's an influencer. Are you kidding me? Really? Wow, wow, that's just beyond ridiculous. But yet here we are. Here we are. Oh shoot, let me see. That is just way too funny. That she makes it sound like that she's too pretty. It's not looks, guys. It's not looks. It's the attitude. It's what's inside your heart, spirit, and soul. You could be Miss Universe for Lord knows, for 5 years running. If you are a despicable, egotistical person that you can't be dealt with, I'm sorry, that beauty be really hideous underneath. Beauty is only skin deep. It means I can find the Right Said Fred. So you can see the video. Right Said. Oh, here we go. I don't want to make. I just want the stupid video. Not to remaster. I want the actual video. Hold on a sec. I got blah 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 blah. It's crazy spouses snap. Well, that's from Advocate. I don't want the club mix either. Come on. I just want the regular video from Call Me Back. Oh, okay. Call Me Back. I haven't seen that ever. Right Said Fred. I'm too sexy. BBC. Don't want that. I just want the regular video. That's all. Regular video. 2006. The guy's still alive? I'm impressed. Because that the Right Said Fred, I'm the sexual has been around more than going like 30 years. You said I find the original video for that one here. I can post that up. You know that. Right Said Fred, I'm the sexual has been around more than going like 30 years. Original video right over here. So I can find that. There we go. Let's see. Can I share? Here we go. Copy. Bingo. That's all I'm looking for. Just, these people make it so hard to find something simple as like a video. And boom. Bingo. That's all I'm looking for. Okay. Check it out. If you're on my YouTube page, look for that. Click on that. It'll be right there. I'm too sexy for my shirt. That sounds like that 20-year-old. Her name is, I repeat, her name is Hope Schwing. Is she a reject from Wayne's World? Seriously? Wow. 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 You see. Hold on. Let's see if I can find part 2. This is more like a repeat, so to speak. This is that was part 1 I read. This is part 2 showing what she looks like. So you have an idea of what she looks like on the right there. So like I said, she's not an ugly woman, but she's not like a goddess. She's not like a perfect 10. Well, says here, I'm too hot to get a boyfriend. Ella influencer 24 claims her incredible beauty has stopped her finding love because men are so intimidated by her looks and they're scared to ask her out. Let me see if I can find the comments, which would be right here. Hang on. Let me see if this is what I think it is. And, oh, here we go. Should get a close-up look. Here we go. Okay, go right here. Start with the top one here. It says here, not intimidated. I could tell by looking at her, she has a massive ego, a super high maintenance. It has a huge sense of entitlement, and would be an absolute nutcase. Next one, she has already found true love herself. Facts. They are not intimidated. They're cautious, bordering to the inherent risk of being inherent risk of you bringing into his currently peaceful life. Facts. Next one. She's a 3. She looks like Roseanne Barr when she's older. Okay. This is what I want to show you though. This scene is believing, folks. That was brutal. It goes on to say on 4 replies, Roseanne looks better than Madonna does now. That hurts on so many levels. Next one says, that's a low bar. Dude, really? Really? Next one, I know, but who would have figured out it would have ended up that way? I agree. Hold a sec. Yep. Next, you should keep your feelings for Roseanne tight. People don't understand that type of love. Come on. Oh my word. But we're gonna go back earlier where it says like not intimidated. I got one that's up here. What the 2 replies said right here. First one says nailed it, of course. The other one also being above average in looks is nothing special. It's the attractive ones that have the looks, and these attractive men and women are so few, like less than 1% of human history. Ouch and ouch. That is so savage. Trying to find the one that, oh, this one is just downright savage. Yeah, some of these comments are brutal. I mean, like, this girl makes it sound like she's so above everybody that, that I'm too hot looking for everybody. I'm above all your comment folks and all that. All for your average man, I'm too good for you. I'm too but trust me, these other comments are more savage than the ones from the previous video. So keep it listening. This one here says, justifying failure will cope. Unbelievable. Next one says, scared to spend money. I beg to differ. How about she's not worthy to have money spent on? She's not worthy of a coffee break. Next, catch a STD. Well, she'd have a boyfriend, but I can promise you she get ran through like a tunnel during rush hour. And be accused of something that you imagine. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Oh, this is my favorite one. She's a 10, all right. 10 on the BS meter. Wow. Here we go. Congratulations on your facing youth. Condolences on your character, bro. That is so downright brutal. I mean, the comments are gonna go on and on. I'm going to post the link with this here so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. This is getting personal here. Take away her filters and makeup. Good one, good one. We want to see what she really looking behind all that. And here replies, a woman who is definitely afraid of water. You think she melt, folks? You think she will melt? Next one. Yeah, there's laughing emojis right there. Oh, here we go. This is from Huggy68. Yeah. Huggy, this for you, buddy. First off, she's an influencer, which means she's broke. This woman is average looking with makeup on. Why? Why guys have to stop? Why guys? This is why guys have to stop simping. You're all blowing up these heads, making them fake their tens. Well, yeah, it's truth. I'm gonna do like about 1-2 months. I gotta call it a night on this one right here because this game is ridiculous. This one from DP251X1. I don't understand where the intimidation myth comes from. I never know for a man to be intimidated by a potential or an actual romantic partner for any reason. If a guy doesn't approach, it's usually because he decides that it's going to be more trouble than it's worth, or because he feels awkward with this approach game. Right now, in other words, though, ladies, you make it so for men, if you make it impossible for men to even think about approaching you. Right now, if you want men to approach you, you gotta be able to initiate. You gotta be the one to either A, wave him over, or start talking to him. Men are no longer going to go to you first. Men are no longer going to make the first move. This is from Isaac Vanderbilt. Okay, Isaac. And Isaac says, this looks like it should be on the front page of the National Enquirer. Wow. There, Bat Boy found a cave in New Mexico. Oh, dang. That's rough. That's rough. Oh my goodness. Like I said, if you've seen this, you probably see it on the live stream. But until then, folks, talk to you later. Peace. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. That's just too funny. Oh my goodness. You got the sad part, you got these women, these influencers, whether it be on TikTok, Instagram, even on YouTube, maybe on Reddit. They think they're tens. They think they're tens. They think they have it like that. But here's the problem though. These top tier dudes, these top, like say 30 to 20, top 20% of men will go through these women. These guys have all the options. Meanwhile, the women ignore the bottom 80% of men who will love them, honor them, and cherish them, and treat them like true queens. But because most of the guys is not 6 feet tall, that's a small population of men who's over 6 feet tall. That's a small population. Not every male is going to be 6 feet tall. I'm 5'10", off by 2 inches. I'm not 6 feet tall. I'm 5'10". I'm just, people say like Jeffrey disqualified. I don't care. That's one. Two, I'm not shaped like I used to be. They want guys who look like they live in the gym. And most importantly, you have, see, 6 feet tall. Oh yeah, 6-figure income. Only a small number of men earns that. That means you have to work your behind off, study, fight, scratch, just to be able to make that money. And what makes you think a female is worth that? Because she said so? No. And she shows up and she provides 3 things. Gentlemen, if a woman provides 3 things for you, she's the one. But it's got to be all 3, not 1 or 2. It's got to be 3 things. If she brings respect, love, peace, she's the one. Everybody said, well, what about this one? No, trust me. If she respects you, loves you, gives you peace, everything else that you think she's gonna bring, she will bring. Plain and simple. The sad part though, not every female, people think like Jeff, what are you bashing women? Not every female is evil. Not every female has a Jezebel spirit. Not every female got this succubus demonic, like mentality. But unfortunately, you got a lot of women being influenced by other women. There's like a video I saw a woman who's trying to save herself, not so quick to jump in bed with every other guy. You got this one woman who's a 3 or 4 who wants to jump in bed with every other guy. I say the one who try, keep it real, try to keep herself pure and all that. I say good on her. The 3 or 4 try to influence the other way. Shame on you. Shame on you for being a bad influence. You not be a good friend. You be a very, very, very horrible. I don't even call you a friend. You just want her to do the same thing you doing, so you won't be miserable alone. That's right. I said what I said. But it's kind of funny though. Women would cheat on the man because he's dull, he's boring. Ladies, if your life is dull and boring, that means that your man is fighting all the wars out there. Your man's out there taking care of business. Your man is making sure that you got roof over your head, food in your stomach, clothes in your back, and any problem will come and stress you, he got it. So in other words, though, boring, yes, but your life is stable. If you want drama, you want stress, you want problems, stay single and date the worst males, like most of you are doing, like most of you young girls are doing right now. And then you guys know to be shocked and surprised, like, oh, why are these men? Because you chose these guys. The funny thing is, like, the reason why you like these guys who will give you drama, who will give you all this attention, because they got nothing else going on. They're not working hard. They're not building businesses or putting long hours to secure a future. They're not doing like that. They're not doing much of anything. That's why they have so much free time to give you women all this attention. The problem is when these guys are through with you, they got no try to go back to your man. Unless your man's a simp, the guy's gonna say, nope, you want to go with this piece of garbage so badly? Adios. I'm gonna do one more video. This is about this one woman who was married for over 30 years, but the first few years of marriage, she had a 4-year affair. And she tried to keep it a secret. She didn't tell anybody. She thought, well, she keep it a secret, no one has to know. Here's your problem with it. There's 3 things you should know you can never, 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 never hide. And I'm talking about maybe men, and especially women who cheat on their partners. There's 3 things you can never hide no matter what. Even the U.S. government can hide it forever. Number 1, you cannot hide the sun. They're talking about, well, we're going to block out the sun. No, you can't hide it. We know the sun out there. It's going to make its way out. We're going to see the sun no matter how much crap you can put in there. We will see the sun one way or the other. 2, the moon, same thing. Some way, somehow, we're going to see that moon, no matter what you try to do. But number 3, the truth. You could bury the truth as deep as you want. You can bury the moon halfway through the earth. That truth's going to come out sooner or later, and when it comes out, it's gonna be like a bomb. It's gonna go off and it's gonna hit everybody, and the effect is very devastating. So without further ado, let's think I'll find this video so you see what I'm talking about. Hold on, so let me get rid of this video here before I forget. Thank you. Now, see if I find this video I was talking about earlier. Oh yeah, here we go. And my suppose like provide some commentary behind it. And don't mind the commercials, unfortunately. It's a long video, but it has some commercials, but I can provide some commentary and thoughts on it. So get ready. This is JTT. This is from what's called Zori. Yeah, hold on a sec here. Didn't mean for that to happen. Here you go. This is from Zoe's Stories. This says I had a 4-year affair decades ago. Not exactly like I never loved him. Check this out, and I'll give my 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 commentary later on during the live streaming.
Look, I'm about to tell you something that's going to sound absolutely insane, but I need you to hear me out because everyone's acting like I'm some kind of monster. And honestly, I'm starting to lose my mind over this whole thing.
If only you knew. If only you knew.
I'm Claire, I'm 51, and up until 3 months ago, I thought I had the perfect life. Like, seriously perfect. 33 years of marriage to the same man, 3 amazing kids who are all grown up and doing their own thing, nice house in a decent neighborhood, the whole suburban dream package. My husband got this Ancestry DNA kit for his birthday from our youngest, and we all thought it would be fun to do it together as a family.
Okay, folks, this is the funniest thing I think I should recommend. I said randomly do ancestry.com. If she somehow try to fight you on it or act all weird about it, that's your first red flag. I repeat, if you do any type of DNA testing and she give you a hard time, give some pushback or what have you not, be warned, first red flag.
You know how those things work. Find out if you're part Irish or whatever. Maybe discover some long lost relatives.
Believe it or not, I looked at one of mine before. I tried to look at mine one more time. And I didn't know, but I think we might have some Italian blood in our family. Yeah, I thought I saw some Italian names in that family tree. Yes, Italian names. I'm thinking I gotta look into it more because I said like Italian. I'm going like that must explain some things. That would explain some things though. But let's go on.
Harmless family bonding time, right? Wrong. So incredibly wrong. I should probably back up and give you some context about our family dynamic. My husband, he's always been the quiet type, you know? The kind of guy who goes to work every day, comes home, watches his shows, doesn't cause any drama. Honestly, sometimes I felt like I was married to a piece of furniture. Not that I'm complaining, steady is good, right? But between you and me, there were times over the years where I felt like I was doing all the emotional heavy lifting in our relationship.
Emotional heavy lifting. Would you feel better if your husband would cry and whine every chance he gets? Can I tell you something, folks? The moment you see a man cry and whine, you gonna tell me the wife would be okay with it? There's a reason why men are not so quick to open up to their feelings. Women had no problem, one, using it against them, worse, telling their mothers and their friends about them. So the next time they see them, they're gonna look at them differently, very differently. They're gonna look at them very less than masculine. Just saying. But
Planning every family event, managing our social calendar.
maybe because he lets you do it because you're a great planner. You make it sound the guy sits at home and do nothing. He does work, you know. He does work, so you don't have to. So unless you work a full-time job, I don't understand the problem.
Making sure we looked good as a couple. He just coasted along while I kept everything running smoothly.
So the fact that man goes out and works every single day does not count. Is that what you try to say?
Our kids are great though. 2 daughters, 29 and 26, and our son who just turned 22.
Okay, I want to bring something up here before I forget. So Helga plays that he works a lot. So basically, he works to make sure that his wife and his kids have this great life. But here's the problem: the trade-off. If he does work all these long hours, yes, to get the great life, but don't see much of him, and he's emotionally depleted by the time he gets home. But if he spends time at home to make enough money, that will cause a financial strain. You got to pick one or the other. You can't think like you can have a guy going to be emotionally available 24/7, especially coming home from a hard day's work.
The girls both live in the city now doing their career thing, and our son's still figuring out what he wants to do with his life.
Okay, the kid's 22. If I'm correct, though, usually by the time you hit 18, you got three choices: go to work, go to college, go to trade school. You can go to Europe and still gonna make the choice of go to college, go to trade school, or go to work. But 22, come on, folks.
Normal family stuff. They've always been daddy's girls, though, which used to annoy me a little,
No comment.
if I'm being honest. Like, I'm the one who handled all their school stuff,
And
their friend drama, their everything, but somehow he's the hero who gets all the credit for being the fun parent.
Okay, key words. Fun parent. She said fun parent. So if daddy's fun, what does that make the mother?
Whatever.
And what you just said specifically sounds like she's a Gen Xer. Sounds like she's a Gen Xer. That attitude screams Gen X all the way, but she's a horrible Gen X mother. She's a horrible Gen X wife. She's a horrible Gen X human being.
That's ancient history now. So anyway, we all did these DNA tests, thinking it would be this cute family project. My husband was especially excited because he never knew his biological father. His mom remarried when he was little, and that's the only dad he ever knew. He thought maybe the test would give him some answers about that side of his family. Sweet, right? God, if we had known what was coming, we would have thrown those stupid kits in the trash.
What mean we? It's not we, it's just you. Some for reason, the daughters, the son, and the father is super excited about the DNA test. You're the only one, the moment, like knowing what you know right now, you wouldn't have been the one trying to get rid of the DNA test. And I bet you any amount of money you would make a stink about it. I know you would make stink. So like I said, folks, if you can get Ancestry.com DNA test, get it. But still, we need that mandatory paternity test. That'd take a lot of stress off our backs. Mr. President, please make it happen.
The results took about 6 weeks to come back, and the kids got theirs first. I remember they were all gathered around one of their laptops in our living room, comparing their results and laughing about random percentages of this and that ethnicity. I was in the kitchen making dinner, half listening to their chatter, when everything went quiet, like dead silent. That's when I knew something was very, very wrong. I walked into the living room and all.
Okay, I can imagine now. She's like in the kitchen, like half hearing what's going on in the living room, and everything from chatter. The next video went quiet, like something really, really traumatic happened, and that's her first clue that something happened. Something really bad happened.
All three of them were staring at the computer screen with these weird expressions on their faces. My stomach started doing flips because I could tell by the way they were looking at each other that they had discovered something they weren't supposed to know.
Something that woman was hiding. She said I wasn't. She tried to make it sound like, well, I wasn't lying, but he wasn't being honest either. Maybe he wasn't more honest and upfront. Number one, it just feels like her needs not being met by her husband. Number one, talk to him. Number two, seek counseling. But trust me, a lot of stuff gonna come out. But keep listening.
My oldest daughter looked at me with this expression I'd never seen before, like she was seeing me for the first time and didn't like what she was looking at. That's when she told me. The DNA results showed that she and her sister weren't genetically related to their father.
Boom.
At all. Zero shared DNA between them and him. Our son matched perfectly. But the girls?
I'm done spending an obscene amount of money on.
Not some kind of episode of a daytime talk show. Each other that they had discussed. Complaining, steady is good, right? But between hits in the trash. Everything went quiet. Like
An obscene amount of money on takeout every done.
I'm getting back on track with Factor. Fresh, never frozen meals and Gary Fresh.
3,
This saves us so
2,
much time when we're
1,
chasing around.
stop.
nothing. They might as well have been complete strangers based on those results. I literally felt the floor drop out from under me. Everything started spinning and I couldn't breathe properly. All I could think was that this wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't how this was supposed to go. We were supposed to find out we were part Scottish or something fun like that, not blow up our entire family with one stupid test that nobody needed to take in the first place. The kids were all staring at me, waiting for some kind of explanation, and I just stood there like an idiot with my mouth hanging open. What was I supposed to say? How do you explain something like that? So I did what any normal person would do. I screamed and ran to my bedroom and locked the door.
Wow, how brave.
I know how that sounds, but you have to understand.
Sounds cowardly. I repeat, it sounds very, very cowardly.
I was in complete shock. This was supposed to be our little.
You're in complete shock? The kid just pretty much told your daughters they were not biologically their fathers. The only person who believes is the son, but still, he's feeling weird about this too. I guarantee you that.
Family science experiment, not some kind of episode of a daytime talk show.
Well, guess what? You're part of it now. All you need now is Jerry Springer and Maury Povich.
I needed time to think, to figure out how to handle this situation without destroying everything we'd built together as a family.
Technically, you destroyed it the moment you had that what you did with the other person that we'll find out in a few moments.
All have been complete strangers based on those results. I'd never seen before. Like she was seeing me for the first time and didn't like what she was looking at. That's when she told me. The DNA results showed that she and her sister weren't genetically related to their father. At all. Zero shared DNA between them and him. Our son matched perfectly. But the girls?
I'm done spending an obscene amount.
So I did what any normal person would do. I screamed and ran to my bedroom and locked the door. I know how that sounds, but you have to understand, I was in complete shock. This was supposed to be our little family science experiment, not some kind of episode of a daytime talk show. I needed time to think, to figure out how to handle this situation without destroying everything we'd built together as a family. Because here's the thing, nobody seems to understand. I never wanted anyone to get hurt by this. Ever.
Kind of too late for that.
I stayed locked in that bedroom for 2 hours, and let me tell you, those were the longest 2 hours of my entire life. I kept hoping maybe I'd heard wrong, maybe there was some kind of mistake with the test results. Maybe this was all just a bad dream I was going to wake up from. But deep down, I knew exactly what those results meant, and I knew I was about to have to confess to something I thought I'd never have to talk about again.
Confess. That means that she did something she had no business doing. And now the chickens had come home to roost.
The whole time I'm sitting on my bed, trying not to hyperventilate, I kept thinking about how unfair this whole situation was.
For who? If she says unfair for her, that would scream selfishness. Selfishness to the highest level.
Like, why now?
Why not back then instead of now, the present? Why not in the past?
Why, after all these years of having a perfectly good family and a
Maybe you were perfectly honest. Maybe I could a little bit more different. There could be like healing, then go forward, then have those good years. But
perfectly good marriage, did this have to come out?
because it's the truth. Simple as that. The truth, and I mean the truth, always, always, always has a way to come out, no matter how deep you bury it.
Nobody was getting hurt by not knowing.
Until the truth comes out and make itself known. And that's where people get hurt.
The girls love their dad. He loves them. We've been happy. What's the point of destroying all that over something that happened when I was barely 30 years old?
You make it sound like you were a child. If you try to make it sound like, well, I was a child before I hit 30, then there's something wrong with you. Sounds like you try, dodging accountability like Neo is dodging bullets on the Matrix. Except Neo has a reason to dodge bullets. You're dodging accountability and responsibility.
But I could hear them all talking in the living room, and I knew there was no way around this. I had to come clean about everything, even though every part of me wanted to just pack a bag and disappear forever.
Anyway, she did, but you'll find out.
Rather than face what was coming next. So I finally unlocked the door and walked back out there. All four of them were sitting around the kitchen table, looking like they were waiting for a funeral to start.
Because life as they know it is over. It's not going to be the same ever again.
My husband had this expression on his face that I'd never seen before. Not angry exactly, but completely blank, like somebody had just told him everything he thought he knew about his life was a lie. Which, to be fair, was pretty much exactly what had just happened.
Thank you. At least that part, you were honest. I give you points for that one.
I sat down at the table and took a deep breath. There was no good way to do this, so I just started talking. I told them about Marcus.
A fair partner, plain and simple, and guaranteed that's the father of the two girls. Guaranteed.
He used to live 3 houses down from us back when we first moved to this neighborhood. Nice guy, friendly, the kind of neighbor who'd help you move furniture or jump your car battery if you...
And apparently jump your wives behind your back. So guys, keep out your wives. Keep an eye on certain guys who want to be around your wives a bit too long. Just keep that in mind.
needed it. He and my husband actually got along really well.
Trust me, I know the feeling. I've been in that situation. It sucks. You think like, okay, this person's cool. He's not gonna do anything to disrespect you or disrespect the relationship we have with your woman, maybe wife, fiance, girlfriend. Well, unfortunately, some guys don't care. They want to just hit it and quit it every chance they get.
They'd hang out in the garage working on projects, watch games together, normal guy stuff. The affair started about 4 years into our marriage. I don't even remember exactly how it began. Just that it did. One thing led to another, and before I knew it, we were meeting up whenever we could find time alone.
Basically, they were knocking boots. Whether it be at her house, whether it be in some place across town, maybe his place, yeah.
My husband was working long hours back then, trying to establish himself in his career.
Yeah, for you, your daughters, for the family. You make it sound like the woman get married, boom, a big job got dropped from his lap, and all this money got paid instantly. No, you gotta work hard to get up there, make the money, establish yourself, your career, so that way, later down the road, you don't have to worry so much. You can spend a lot more time together. It's called investing your time and energy now, so it'll come down to later years, you can enjoy your life. Some women, and I say some, don't understand that. Don't get me wrong, there are some men who would cheat, and they usually get penalized immediately, but when a woman cheats, you have 1,001 excuses.
And I was home with a toddler and feeling pretty isolated and lonely. Marcus was just there, you know, available and interested and paying attention to me in a way that felt good.
So because your husband worked long hours, come home exhausted and depleted, and because Marcus right there, it's a question, what type of work does Marcus do? He probably wasn't doing that much work if he's around you, have time to hang out with you. He wasn't working all that hard compared to your husband. So was he like a part-time or something like that? It makes you kind of wonder.
It went on for 4 years.
Yeah, that's the point. I don't get me wrong. I have zero tolerance for affairs, but the fact it lasted 4 years. But watch how she tried to deflect it on her husband going down the line here. Just keep listening.
4 years of sneaking around, making excuses, living this double life.
And the scary part, some women love it. They feel like they feel powerful and all that. They live a double life. They string along, having like control of 2 men at once. Are you serious? That screams of Jezebelian spirit. That screams of Jezebelian mentality right there. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments down below.
That honestly became almost normal after a while.
She said it, not me.
The girls were both born during that time. And yes, I knew there was a chance they might not be my husband's biological children.
But
I also knew there was a chance they were.
So instead of telling your husband, she just let it go. Hoping for the best, but we really know how that turned out.
It wasn't like I was keeping track of dates or anything scientific like that.
How about us being honest with your husband saying, look, this is what happened. No, you let it happen. You let it happen for 4 years.
I was just living my life and hoping for the best.
Yeah, living her 3 or 4 life as a housewife.
The affair ended when Marcus got a job transfer and moved across the country.
Okay, I want you to remember this though. The affair ended when he had a job across country and he moved. It happened because he moved. I hear nothing that she ended it. I heard that he got a job across country and the affair ended. Remember that, folks. Remember.
No dramatic breakup, no big emotional scene. He just left.
Keep that in mind too. He just left. She didn't have this talk like, Marcus, I'm married. I can't do this. Nope. He got a job across country. He left. The end.
And that was that. I decided it was a sign that I should focus on my marriage and my family, so that's what I did. I threw myself into being the best wife and mother I could be.
Okay, there's another thing I got a problem with that with women who cheat. The moment that she say, I'm gonna be the best wife, I'm gonna be the best mother. Why can't you be that instead of cheating, then doing that? Why can't you be the best mother, best wife, period? Why has it come down to after you cheated, after you lied to deceive your husband? Why can't you be the best mother and best wife, period? I don't understand why you got this need. Why, to cover up all the wrong you did? That not being, and what does that mean? Even if for the second army, like you were faithful next to you still was unfaithful the first 4 years. Are you serious? That's like me going on a killing spree for 4 years, and next 33 years, I don't kill a soul. That will not wash the blood off my hands. Shades of Macbeth here. That's not gonna wash that blood off the hands. This woman done her husband dirty. She done her kids dirty. But because she been a good mother and wife for 33 years straight, that's to cover everything. No, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. But keep listening.
And honestly, I think I succeeded.
No, you didn't. You want to know why I say you failed? Because quite simply the reaction from your kids and your husband says everything. And I do mean everything. And you still feel entitled like, well, because I've been a good wife, a good mother for all these years, I should get a pass. No, you don't get a pass for that. You don't get a pass whatsoever.
We had good years after that. Really good years. I never told anyone about any of this because what would have been the point?
Transparency, honesty.
Marcus was gone. It was over. And bringing it up would have just hurt people unnecessarily.
The moment you decide to have an affair with Marcus, you already caused someone to get hurt already. Just make you hide the truth. That's gonna come back and cause pain, worse pain, for you to tell your husband straight on. But you let it go on for 4 years, and this basically sounds like she refused to take accountability and responsibility. And because she's been good for 33 years, that should be it. She gets a pass? No, you get no pass. No.
My husband didn't need to know. The girls didn't need to know. Nobody needed to know. Some things are better left buried.
I got a question for you ladies. What if you find out that your husband used to work as a government agent who's a hitman and killed men, women, and children in other countries? But that was like about when he was like in his early 20s. He stopped when he hit 30. He's 51 years old. He's a model husband, model father. How would you take it if you found your husband committed such violent, heinous crimes to men, women, and children? Will you be okay with it? Would you accept it? Would you be able to handle it? Let me know in the comments down below.
You know? But sitting at that kitchen table with all of them staring at me, I had to explain all of this. I had to watch my husband's face change as he realized that 2 of the children he'd raised from birth, 2 of the people he loved most in the world, weren't actually his biological daughters.
Yeah, that'll rip so much out of the father. like I said, I have a slight idea what it's like. I'm not gonna go into details. Let's just say I have a good idea what it's like, and it hurts in a way that I can't put into words, and I'm kind of scared to put in the feeling. It's just so dark, so cold, and so painful, you know. So to find out that you've been living a lie, and this woman expects this man to just get over it and all that. Well, we love each other all these years. I love you. I love the kid. You still didn't tell the truth. Was transparent, and there's hiding truth in reading. That's still as bad as any lie. Hiding the truth, a very powerful, painful truth, is the worst, darkest lie you can do. That's just horrible.
I had to watch my girls process the fact that the man they'd called dad their entire lives wasn't their real father. The whole time I'm talking, I kept emphasizing how much I loved all of them, how the affair didn't mean anything compared to our family.
If the affair didn't mean anything, why you had the affair? If the affair didn't mean anything, why do you let it last for 4 years? Explain that to me. Folks, what do you think? If the affair don't mean anything, why did she have it in the first place? If the affair didn't mean anything, why did the woman allow it to last for 4 years? Why she didn't just confess to her husband and family this is what happened? Why? Please let me know in the comments down below, please.
How I'd chosen to end it and focus on what really mattered.
Okay, this is where I gotta stop right here. And that's a lie. She claimed she ended. No, she didn't, because folks, you heard yourself. She said if Marcus accepted a job across country, he just left. You didn't hear one time she said that, well, I'm gonna have sat down, talk, I can't do this anymore. No, she didn't tell him I want a clean breakfast. She didn't say all that. All we heard that Marcus got a job across country, he left. None of this like, oh, she broke it up. No. Because here's my question. Why Marcus did not accept that job? Why was there no job across country? You think Marcus still be around? You think the affair would stop? What do you think, folks? Let me know in the comments down below, please.
I told them about all the wonderful years we'd had together, all the memories we'd made, all the love we'd shared. None of that was fake or meaningless just because of some biology results.
Okay, once again, you had an affair on your husband, and the kids who you birthed are not from your husband. You're not going to tell me that is not supposed to hurt. You're not going to try to tell me that's not going to cause some type of trauma to your husband as well to your daughters. You're not going to tell me that's not going to screw up the family dynamic whatsoever. That's going to cause some problems like you cannot begin to imagine. But you're thinking like, oh, because don't get me wrong, no one's down, but you love them. But if you so-called loved and most of them respected them, maybe you would have been more forward and talking about what really happened instead of lying all this time and wait for them to find out for themselves. The fact that your daughters had to find out for themselves, that is the most messed up thing you allow to happen. And that part, ma'am, you failed. You failed as a wife. You failed as a mother. You failed as a human being. You failed as a woman, period.
I also made sure to mention that Marcus had died a few years ago.
Oh, that changes a lot of things. Oh, Marcus is dead. You ain't worried about him coming by and saying, hey, Daddy's home. Seriously? You make it sound like if Marcus died, things are going to be great. No. You make it sound like you're happy Marcus is dead. Come on. That really tells me how messed up you are.
So it wasn't like this was going to complicate things by having...
No. The fact that the daughters had to find out through a DNA test, that's what complicated things. Well, that complicated things between you, your daughter, your son, and especially your husband. But I've yet to hear you take responsibility or accountability yet.
Having him suddenly show up wanting to be involved in the girls' lives.
Well, you can't do that now because man's dead, so why would you care?
You look at a gorgeous woman and immediately you think to yourself, no, this woman is out of my league. She's unattainable.
4, 3.
That chapter was completely closed.
Because Mark is dead, right? No, I'm sorry. The DNA test showed the truth. Yes, Marcus is gone. May he rest in peace. But you sound like please he's gone. What's wrong with you?
My husband just sat there the entire time, not saying a word. The girls were crying, our son looked like he was in shock, and I felt like I was talking to a room full of strangers.
Duh. Unbelievable.
Instead of my own family. By the time I finished explaining everything, I was crying too.
You wasn't crying because you were sad. You was crying because the truth was known. Not through you, because the truth was made known, not because you said so, because your daughter found out and you had to tell the rest of the truth.
Begging them to understand that this didn't change anything about how much I loved them or how good our life together had been.
But it will change them as a family because of it. Period. No honesty, no transparency.
But looking at their faces, I could tell that as far as they were concerned, everything had already changed.
Thank you.
After I finished explaining everything, the silence in that room was deafening. Nobody knew what to say, nobody knew how to react, and honestly, I was starting to get a little frustrated with how everyone was acting like this was the end of the world or something.
Yeah. You see, a DNA test would be something fun for the family. It was to bring the family together. Instead, it just blew things up.
My husband finally spoke, and his voice sounded different somehow. Flat and cold in a way I'd never heard before. He asked me if I was sure the girls weren't his, and I had to explain that yes, based on the DNA results, I was sure.
But I don't think you need a DNA at all. She knew there was a chance for the kids when the daughters were not his. She just knew. She just don't want to face up to it. And I'm tired of women think like, well, I was a child. Okay, let me stop it right there. 18, 19, I get it. But once you hit past 21 and 22, a little bit of common sense should be like seeping in by now. You should have an idea what's right, what's wrong. You should have an idea. I'm sick and tired of women saying like, well, I was young. So being young and immature is an excuse. Can I tell you something, folks? There are people who are from their 20s to their 30s and in their 40s who cheat on their man. So don't give me that, well, I was young. There are women who cheat in their 20s and 30s and 40s. Don't try to guess like me and other men saying like, well, I was too young. Don't. Just don't. Because I'm not buying it, and I promise you, a lot of other people don't buy it, especially the men.
He asked me how long I'd suspected this might be the case, and I told him the truth, that I'd always known it was a possibility, but had hoped it wouldn't matter.
Maybe to you it doesn't matter, but apparently to your husband, it mattered a lot.
That's when he really lost it. Not screaming or yelling, which honestly might have been easier to deal with.
So you have a reason to really like divorce, like, oh, he's yelling, he's screaming, he's being violent. Nope. He handled it another way, which you can't deal with. And the best part, he handled it his way, which I know got your nerves. In other words, your husband went super cerebral. It was like, you know what? I'm done with this person, but I can do it my way. I'll be calm, I'll be quiet. I could, do A through Z to make sure I'm away from this person.
But this quiet kind of fury that was way more terrifying. He started asking me all these questions about the timeline, about specific dates and events, trying to piece together exactly when everything happened and how long I'd been lying to him. And that's where I think he was being completely unfair because...
Unfair? You've been less than honest with the man. You were never honest. You weren't transparent, but yet he's being unfair. No, ma'am. And I'm being polite while I call you ma'am. You were the one being unfair.
I wasn't lying exactly. I was just not bringing up something that didn't need to be brought up.
But the fact that you will fool around with another man and possibly birth his kids, I think that's something very, 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 very important.
There's a difference between actively deceiving someone and just not volunteering information that's going
Oh. So that's like saying, like, well, you got deadly cancer that's going to kill you 5 years from now, but guess what? I'm going to wait 4.5 years to tell you. What? That makes zero sense. Once again, honesty, transparency. Because we don't have honesty, trust, and respect, nothing kind of tells me to do. She doesn't respect her husband enough to tell him what needs to be told. There's no respect there. The fact that she chose to hide this information, there's no respect. If she loved her husband, she would have told him because she had to know that would hurt her husband. If she respected her husband, she wouldn't have an affair. If she loves her husband, she would never, like let the situation get between Marcus and her get to that point. If she would give the man peace, she would never do her husband. Either way, she blew the relationship up 3 different ways. No respect, no love, no peace.
To hurt them unnecessarily. I mean, what was I supposed to do? Sit him down one day and say, hey, just so you know, there's a chance 2 of our kids aren't actually yours biologically. But don't worry about it because I love you and we're happy.
No. That's not it. You should have just simply said, look, I had an affair with this person, your friend Marcus, and 2 of the kids, your 2 daughters, may not be yours, may be his. But she said, because I love you, it shouldn't matter. No, it does matter. Now, she would have told him early on and stopped the affair early. I mean, super early. Or better, don't let the affair happen. Like, look, I had to choose this guy, but I cut it off early. If she would have had it way differently, like, don't let the affair happen at all, then the only thing I can see the relationship being saved. I can see the marriage being saved. But the fact she let the affair happen, and the fact that Marcus had to go across country for the affair to end, and she did end it. For the record, she did end the relationship. Marcus went across town, that's it. Once again, she tried to lie, gaslight us as the readers.
That would have been cruel.
The fact that your husband to find out through his daughters that they're not his for a DNA kit, and you didn't say a word until after the fact, now that's cruel and vile and evil.
The girls kept looking back and forth between me and their dad, and I could tell they were trying to process everything. My oldest daughter asked me if I ever planned to tell them the truth.
Good question.
And I explained that I hadn't seen the point in disrupting everyone's happiness over something that happened so long ago.
It's still important. Extremely important. Just saying.
She got this look on her face, like she thought I was being selfish.
Yes. Because you were being extremely selfish.
Which really hurt because...
Oh, wow. Wow.
Everything I did was to protect this family.
For what? Your embarrassment? Your fear? Your shame? That's one thing I think this woman is definitely fair, is shame. But you know what? Public shaming should be brought back. Public shaming should be brought back.
Our son was just sitting there not saying anything, and I could tell he was feeling weird about being the only one who was definitely his father's biological child. I tried to reassure him that this didn't change anything about how we felt about his sisters, that biology doesn't determine love. But
I agree. But if you build this love based on lies, what the heck is it? Oh, I'm sorry, deception and dishonesty. What would you call that?
He seemed pretty shaken up by the whole thing. The worst part was watching my husband's reaction, though. He kept asking me questions about Marcus, about what our relationship was like, about why I stayed with him for 4 years.
Thank you.
If it didn't mean anything. I tried to explain that it was complicated, that I was young and confused, and going through a difficult time in our marriage.
Okay, if you're going through a difficult time for your marriage, bring it to your husband's attention. Bring in a marriage counselor. If you care and love your husband that much, go get a marriage counselor. Instead, have to go to Marcus.
But he wasn't interested in hearing about the context or the circumstances that led to everything.
Because you were not honest and transparent. That's about that's a lie.
He also kept fixating on the timeline, trying to figure out exactly when each of the girls was conceived and whether there was any chance they could still be his biological children.
I don't think the fathers are going to care if that's his biological daughters or not, but the fact that he got lied to thinking that his biological daughters still hurt. Because you would think the wife would be honest with him and tell him the truth, but apparently she did not. She was not transparent. She's not honest. That's what hurt. He counted on his wife to be honest. He counted on his wife to be, transparent. But he can't depend. He can't trust her at all. Sad.
I had to keep explaining that based on the DNA results, there was no chance, and I could see him getting more and more devastated every time I confirmed it. Then he started asking me about other things, whether there had been other affairs, whether anything else about our marriage was a lie.
Can you blame him? Can you blame the man? Not one bit. How if you try to say like feel a certain way, then you're just not right.
Whether he could trust anything I'd ever told him.
Duh.
That's when I started getting defensive.
Oh, wow.
Because he was acting like I was some kind of serial cheater
or a pathological liar. Well, yeah. For 4 years, that makes you a serial cheater. You don't need multiple people to be cheating on. You just need like one person to be cheating over a long period of time to make you a serial cheater and a liar because you have to lie, fake, deceive. Just go and get your groove on with your husband's so-called friend.
or pathological liar, when this was literally one situation from decades ago.
It still brings some pain and it still brings some hurt.
That I'd handled the best way I knew how.
No, you handled it the worst way imaginable. Stop the lying, stop the gaslighting.
I reminded him about all the good years we'd had together.
Once again, first 4 years, you screwed up. Next 30 years supposed to erase everything. Maybe if he was honest from the very beginning and got counseling early on and got through counseling, then you enjoyed the early years. Are you serious?
All the ways I'd been a devoted wife and mother.
Once again, you have to wait till you pretty much cheated on your husband, gave birth to another man's child or children to decide to become the best wife and best mother. Seriously. I just had to shake my hand in disgust at this.
All the times I'd supported him and put our family first.
What do you want? You want to be like Joan of Arc? No. You should not be you don't try to martyr yourself like, well, I sacrificed so much. You didn't sacrifice a thing. Otherwise, you would have said no to Marcus. Otherwise, you would not have the affair, Marcus. Don't try to make it sound like you sacrificed yourself. Don't with it.
I told him about how I'd ended the affair on my own.
And that's another lie. Folks, you see it for yourself. Once again, Marcus took a job across the country and he stopped being around her. And I quote, she said, that's a sign I should focus on my husband and family. Not like how she didn't end the affair. It ended when Marcus left, not because she ended it. Ugh.
Because I realized what really mattered to me.
Yeah, try to keep a squeaky clean image while she's about dirty as a sewer pipe.
I explained that keeping this information private had been about protecting everyone, not about being deceptive or manipulative.
Yes, it's be about deceptive and manipulative. And so-called protecting somebody, you gotta cause the person or the party you intend to protect more pain and suffering you can only possibly imagine.
But he wasn't hearing any of it.
Good.
He kept acting like everything good about our marriage was somehow fake now.
Can't blame him.
Like 33 years of building a life together meant nothing because of something that happened in the first few years.
Okay, it wasn't a nothing. It was a big something. Please give your skull, miss.
When we were both still figuring out how to be married, the girls tried to reassure him that he was still their father no matter what.
Which I had nothing against, though. The girls still love their father because they've been around for so long, had been in loves and all that stuff, and that's nothing wrong with it. But the mother still lied to him, and that still messed him up. And I know the girls are still going like trying to figure things out too.
That they loved him, and this didn't change anything about their relationship with him. I was grateful for that because at least someone in the room was being reasonable about the situation.
No, not because they're on your side. They try to comfort them, to try to comfort your husband.
But even their support didn't seem to help him process what he was feeling.
Stretching will relax your muscles and make you feel good in the moment, but it will not prevent injuries, make you strong.
By the end of the night, he told me he needed me to leave for a while so he could think. Just like that. After 33 years of marriage, I was supposed to pack a bag and go stay somewhere else because he couldn't handle the truth about something that happened before most people even owned cell phones. I asked him how long he needed, and he said he didn't know. I asked him if we could talk about this in counseling, and he said maybe eventually, but not right now. I asked.
Okay, let me stop right there. They want to talk about counseling. Where was this before she decided to have an affair with Marcus? Where was all that? Where was his need for counseling? Where was the need for all that? Once again, why you gotta wait till way after the fact? Why you have to wait till like your daughters found out, and then everybody else found out? Why? You could have stopped it and nipped it in the bud. That would have been the end of it. But guess what? The DNA test blew everything up. Truth came out. Now you want therapy. Now you want couples counseling. Now you want it. Before you don't hear nothing about it, but now you do. Unreal.
Asked him what I was supposed to tell people about why I was suddenly staying at my sister's house, and he said that was my problem to figure out.
Yup.
So that's how I ended up loading a suitcase into my car at 10 o'clock at night, driving across town to my sister's place, trying to explain to her why my husband had kicked me out of my own house over something that happened literally decades ago.
Once again, like say your husband was a former government agent who's an assassin who killed men, women, children in other countries. Like say about 30 years ago, would you accept it? Would you be okay with that? Especially if he had kids himself with you. Would you be okay with that? Let's think on that.
The whole situation felt completely surreal and totally unfair.
Yeah, it was unfair to the husband, to your husband. It was unfair to the kids, period.
Living at my sister Beth's house has been absolutely miserable.
Wow.
And honestly, I'm getting tired of everyone acting like I'm the only one who did anything wrong in this situation.
You're right. Technically, Marcus did too, but he's dead.
Beth keeps giving me these looks like she's disappointed in me.
Because you should know better than that.
Which is rich, coming from someone who's been divorced twice and can't keep a relationship together for more than 2 years.
Ouch. I wonder if that problem runs in the family.
But the worst part is how my husband is handling all of this. I've tried calling him, texting him, showing up at the house to talk, and he acts like I'm some kind of stranger he doesn't want to deal with.
He doesn't know you. He thought he knows you, but apparently he does not, and I'm not surprised.
When I do manage to get him on the phone, he's cold and distant, and acts like everything I say is some kind of manipulation attempt. What really gets me is how everyone's reacting like this affair was some kind of ongoing betrayal instead of something that ended decades ago.
Yeah, it ended because Marcus left. Not because it ended because Marcus left because his job is across the country. Stop saying you ended. You didn't end the doggone thing. The only thing you ended was the marriage. That's exactly what you did.
I've been faithful to my husband for almost 30 years since.
But the first few years you was not, so you can stop.
Marcus moved away.
Okay, you just said it yourself. Marcus moved away. You just said it. You just contradicted yourself. Stupid.
30 years. But apparently that doesn't count for anything because of something that happened when I was barely out of my 20s.
Okay, barely out of your 20s. So it's okay. It's perfectly fine that because I bet you, okay, here's the thing. If you was like 16, 17, 18 when this happened, then it's not an excuse, but I can almost see that. But you barely out of your 20s when it happened? Seriously?
And can we talk about how my husband was back then? Because everyone's painting him as this perfect victim. But the truth is, he was hardly around during those early years of our marriage.
Because he was working long hours, make sure you guys have a comfortable life. Does that anything mean to you women anymore? Apparently not. If it works too much, he's not around enough, I'm gonna have an affair on you. If it doesn't work enough, there's a financial problem, I'm gonna have an affair on you with somebody who has more money than you.
He was always working late, always tired when he got home, always too busy or stressed to pay attention to what I needed as his wife.
Okay, once again, the same. Where was this need for a counselor back then? All of a sudden, after you have that, oh, let's see a marriage counselor. How can you think about having one back then?
I was home alone with a toddler most of the time, feeling isolated and unappreciated. And when Marcus started paying attention to me and making me feel valued, it felt like what I deserved. I'm not saying the affair was right.
Sure, you might as well say the affair's right. You've been saying like, well, I deserve it. I'm entitled to it. You might as well say, that the affair is right. You might as well, the way you're acting right now.
But context matters.
Forget the context. You context matter. No. How about simple right and wrong? Period. Forget the context. You were just wrong. End of story.
I wasn't some cheating wife sneaking around for fun.
Yes, you were. There's so many contradictions in the story. It's ridiculous. Oh my goodness. If I was a divorce lawyer, I would. Oh, folks, if I was a divorce lawyer, you must have called me Wolverine because I would have my claws out and carve her to pieces. I mean, Sabretooth and Deadpool would have nothing on me.
I was a lonely woman whose husband wasn't meeting her emotional needs.
So it's justified for you. So let me see if I can flip the script. Let's say if you want to meet your husband's physical needs, was he allowed to go find a mistress, and have fun with her? Oh no, you would scream divorce court, child support, take half or most of his paycheck. Yeah, don't give me that crap. Stop. Just stop the cap.
And I found comfort with someone who actually seemed to care about me as a person. The fact that it lasted 4 years should tell you something about how neglected I was feeling in my marriage during.
Once again, marriage counseling, the same way you want to have it after you have the affair, after the kids are born, from your affair partner, also you want the marriage counseling. Back then, we have all these problems, all these issues. Where was the need for the marriage counseling back then?
That time. But try explaining that to anyone now, and they act like I'm making excuses instead of providing important context for my decisions.
If that's your word of the day or year, context. Yeah, I was wrong, but you don't understand the context of it. You still cheated on your man. You still gave birth to another man's child. Forget the context. You were just wrong. Accountability and responsibility. I'm positive this is kryptonite to some of these women. It's kryptonite.
My sister keeps telling me I need to take accountability for what I did.
Thank you.
But what does that even mean?
Look it up.
I ended the affair.
You did end the affair. Stop your lying. Marcus, in a way, did when he left. So don't say, I ended the affair. No. He did when he left. So stop your lying.
Focused on my family. I've been a good wife and mother for 3 decades since.
Once again, why do you have to take to after having feel like, wow, maybe I should focus on being a good mother, good. good wife? No. You should be a good wife, good mother from day one. Day one, not after you have your so-called 3 or 4 phase while you're a married woman. But this is why men are not so quick to be involved with women, especially in marriage. This is why.
Then, how much more accountable can I be?
How about this simply saying, yes, I messed up, and yes, I accept the consequences? Does that ring a bell to you?
The really frustrating part is watching how my husband is getting all this sympathy from everyone.
You did cheat on him. Instead of giving him 2 daughters, you gave him 2 daughters that belong to another man. So yeah, when the people find out what really happened, I think your husband do it for some sympathy. So yes, he do for sympathy, and yes, you do to just simply be quiet about it.
While I'm being treated like some kind of pariah.
Yes, you are.
Our mutual friends keep reaching out to him to check on how he's doing, bringing him casseroles and offering to help with yard work or whatever. Meanwhile, I'm living in my sister's guest room, being lectured about honesty and commitment.
Thank you.
By people who have no idea what it's like to be in a long-term marriage.
There people do know what it's like to be in a long-term marriage, but apparently you were not taking notes, apparently.
He's also been meeting with some therapists, which honestly feels like another way to avoid dealing with our problems together.
Hate to tell you this, you're not gonna tell me that this revelation was not good for him. This revelation broke him. Found out that his wife cheated on him of 30 years, but she gave birth to 2 kids that's not his. So yeah, it kind of like broke him, traumatized him. Yeah, I think therapy would be very helpful right now. Maybe clear his mind of what he's gonna do next.
Every time I suggest couples counseling, he says he's not ready for that yet.
Can't blame him, not one bit. I'll check that out later.
And needs to process his own feelings first. But how long is that supposed to take? It's been 3 months already, and if anything, he seems to be getting more distant instead of working toward forgiveness.
I'm gonna guarantee the man forgive you, but he just don't want to deal with you anymore. And how you gonna blame him for that? You permanently destroyed his trust. Destroyed it. Some people say like she burned the bridge. No, she didn't burn the bridge. She nuked the bridge.
I've been trying everything I can think of to fix this situation, but my husband seems determined to stay stuck in his anger instead of moving forward like a mature adult.
Anger, no. Mourning process, yeah. He's mourning the loss of his marriage. Because as far as I'm concerned, this marriage is done. It's over. Really over.
It's like he's decided that being the victim is more important to him than saving our marriage.
I think it's not him being a victim. He wants to heal. How he's going to heal? Apparently not being around you. Am I right or wrong, folks? Let me know in the comments down below, please.
And honestly, it's starting to make me wonder if this is really the man I thought I married.
So says a woman who cheated on her husband and gave birth to another man's kids.
Last month, I suggested we go to marriage counseling together, and he said he wasn't ready. I offered to write him a letter explaining everything from my perspective so he could read it when he felt prepared to hear it. And he said he didn't want to read anything from me right now. I even reached out to
Because he can't believe a word you said, you can't blame him.
our pastor to see if he could mediate a conversation between us. And my husband told him he appreciated the offer, but needed more time to think.
Some dungeon entrances in Top Heroes are super sneaky. At Sentry Tower, most players just grab the chest and leave.
How much time does one person need to think about something? We're talking about decades-old history here, not some ongoing situation that needs to be figured out. The affair is over, Marcus is dead. Our kids are adults who love their father regardless of biology.
Yes, Marcus is dead. Yes, their friends over because Marcus left for a job across country, not because you broke it off. Marcus, in a way, broke it off, but he left physically. I said before, I say it again. Had he stayed, would the affair continue? According to her, Marcus may have felt a certain way, so would the affair continued? But since he left across town, that's when she decided, like, well, since Marcus not around, I think I'd be the best wife and mother around. Crap.
And we have a whole life together that's worth preserving.
But it's built on lies, deception, dishonesty.
But apparently none of that matters as much as his need to punish me for something I can't change.
You're right, you can't change it. Maybe to control problems from the very beginning, it will never come down to it. But because you feeling punished, it's called consequences. Deal with it.
The worst part is how he's been handling things with our social circle. Word has gotten out about our separation, because obviously people notice when a married couple stops appearing places together. And the way he's been discussing our situation makes me sound like some kind of monster.
Well, you are. Deal with it.
I found out from Beth that he told our neighbor Karen the whole story, and now she's been giving me dirty looks when I drive through the neighborhood.
Oh, where?
He also apparently told his brother everything, because now his whole side of the family has been treating me differently.
Once again, you did cheat on him. You gave birth to your affairs. Well, you cheated on your husband. You gave birth to the man you cheated with, kids, but not your husband. You gave him one son, though. You gave him one son, yeah, the youngest son. But you cheated on your husband, and your affair partner knocked you up, and you gave birth to two of his kids, but not your husband's. But yeah, he should not feel a certain way. Yeah. Can I tell you something, folks, especially you ladies? The worst way to hurt a man is two ways. Cheat on him and get knocked up by the affair partner. Just the worst way to hurt him. The worst.
His sister used to text me regularly, and now I'm lucky if I get a response when I reach out to her. It's like he's systematically turning everyone against me instead of trying to work through our problems privately like mature married adults do.
Maybe you didn't cheat on him, deceive him, and gave birth to another man's kids. You're right. He should have done it that way. But since you wasn't transparent and honest, you shouldn't be complaining about anything and just accept the consequences.
Meanwhile, our kids are getting tired of being caught in the middle of this drama. My youngest actually told me last week that maybe I should consider giving Dad more space because he's really struggling with trust issues.
Thank you. He can't trust your word anymore. And people say, well, for 30 plus years, I was telling the truth. But the first few years, he lied like a cheap rug. So why are you surprised he got trust issues?
Trust issues? After 30 years of faithful marriage following one mistake from...
Okay, one more thing. The fact you had an affair with Marcus, and I'm going to tell you this again, ladies, is not a mistake. It's a choice. You choose not to think, you choose not to care, but most importantly, you choose not to respect your husband. And the fact you choose not to respect your husband, that's why you end up having an affair with Marcus, which lasted 4 years, which resulted of 2 of your daughters being born that came from Marcus.
when I was practically a child.
She did not just say that. You say you barely are your 30s and you are practically a child? So you're going to tell me women in their 20s are children? Yeah, it's official. You're a moron.
But here's what really gets me. I've been watching him from a distance, and he seems to be doing just fine without me. Better than fine, actually. He's lost weight, he's been more social, he's picked up new hobbies, and according to our mutual friends, he seems more relaxed and happier than he's been in years. So much for being devastated and needing time to heal, right?
Haven't thought maybe be away from you, allow them to heal, and feel better for yourself? While most women go get drunk and let themselves become carousels, human carousels, or being ran through like a track meet during the Olympics, this guy lifted weights, took care of himself, looked better, talked better, and pretty much like improved his life. And I think the fact that he kept away from you allowed him to heal not that better, but much more quickly. Now, my feeling is if he was around you, he's going to heal very, very slowly. But the fact he's not around you, he can breathe easily, he can heal a lot more quickly and feel better about himself. But you have a problem because you're not there to take the credit. He's doing it on his own. He don't need you. To tell you modern women feel like, oh, man cannot survive without us. Yes, he is. This man is thriving without you, and that bothers her. You see this, folks? It bothers her because this man, not only he's healing, he starts to thrive. Yes, he carries some hurt, but he's thriving. Better off without her.
It's almost like this whole situation has given him an excuse to end our marriage.
Technically, you end the marriage the moment you decide to go with Marcus. So you end the marriage, not your husband.
Without having to take any responsibility.
Like, you can talk, lady, practice what you preach.
For his own role in our problems.
And what about the role in your problem? What about the role in this situation?
Because let's be honest, our marriage hasn't been perfect for a long time.
Once again, marriage counselor, like I said, you be nagging your husband for a marriage counselor as of recently, but you should have said that early on. And then you say, like, well, after the affair of Marcus, tell your husband being honest, you're going to say, I'd be the best wife and mother I'd be. Crap.
We've been going through the motions for years, more like roommates than husband and wife, and maybe this DNA test thing just gave him a reason to blow everything up instead of doing the hard work of reconnecting with each other.
Once again, maybe you would have brought up your husband's attention, it would not be an issue, but you didn't. You wait till everything gone to seed, then you decide, okay, last ditch effort, let's go to a marriage counselor. He said, no, I'm done.
Well, it's been 6 months now since this whole nightmare started, and I have to say, the way things have turned out is absolutely not what I expected or deserved. My husband filed for divorce 3 months ago.
Good. It's that time he tasted real freedom.
And apparently he's been planning this whole thing a lot more carefully than I gave him credit for.
So you don't think too highly about your husband's intelligence?
Turns out all that thinking time he needed was actually time to meet with lawyers and financial advisors and figure out how to completely screw me over.
Technically, Marcus did that, but that's for another discussion.
The divorce proceedings have been brutal, and not just financially. He hired some shark of an attorney who's been digging into every aspect of our marriage, trying to paint me as this deceitful, manipulative person who can't be trusted.
Facts.
They've been requesting bank records, phone records, social media, history, everything they can think of to build a case that I've been dishonest about other things too. And the crazy thing is, they actually found stuff. Not affairs or anything like that, because I've been completely faithful since Marcus, but little things I'd forgotten about.
Still, number one, you're still cheating your husband. Plain and simple. You were unfaithful, but most importantly, you showed no respect, no love, no peace.
Like how I opened a credit card a few years ago and didn't tell him about it right away, or how I'd sometimes tell him I was going to lunch with girlfriends when I was actually going shopping by myself. Normal stuff that every married person does, but now it's all being used as evidence that I'm fundamentally deceptive.
That you are.
The worst part is how our kids have been reacting to all this.
Oh,
At
yeah.
first, they were trying to stay neutral and maintain relationships with both of us, but as more details have come out during the divorce process, they've been pulling away from me. My oldest daughter actually told me she's disappointed in how I've handled everything and thinks I should have been more honest from the beginning.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What a chance of her taking it, nah, she's not going to take it fine. She got to find a reason to complain about it.
But apparently my perspective on the situation doesn't matter to anyone. Even Beth has been making comments about how I need to own my mistakes and accept responsibility
Thank you.
for the consequences of my choices.
Exactly. Not a mistake, choices.
Easy for her to say when she's never had to navigate a complicated marriage or make difficult decisions about what information to share and what to keep private. The really infuriating part is watching how everyone has been treating my husband throughout this whole process. He's gotten so much sympathy and support, like he's some kind of saint who was married to a monster for 33 years.
Well, yeah.
People have been bringing him meals, inviting him to social events, checking on his well-being, while I've been basically ostracized from our entire social circle.
Oh, wow.
Last month, I found out that he's been seeing someone. Some woman he met through his hiking group, apparently. When I confronted him about it, he had the nerve to tell me that it wasn't any of my business what he did with his personal life.
Because apparently you don't respect your husband enough to not to bring in Marcus and give your husband personal life, but you did behind your husband's back. So you talk about respect, yeah. Respect is usually earned, not given.
Since we were separated. But the divorce isn't even final yet, and he's...
Doesn't matter. There are women who start dating. There are women who get knocked up by their affair partner before the ink is even dry for the divorce papers. So I don't want to hear it.
Already moved on, like our entire marriage meant nothing to him.
Technically, you blew up that marriage the moment you went with Marcus. So don't want to hear it.
The woman is younger than me, of course.
Sweet.
Probably never been married. Definitely
Good.
doesn't have kids. And from what I've heard, she thinks his whole starting over after betrayal story is incredibly romantic.
Okay. What's the problem?
She has no idea what it's actually like to be married for decades, to navigate the complexities of raising children and managing a household and keeping a relationship together through all the challenges that life throws at you.
You're right. She doesn't like to be married for a long period of time, but here's the difference. Hopefully this one here, she gets tempted, hopefully she has the strength and will and all to say no and make the right choice, unlike you who make the worst choice.
Ago, I was at the grocery store when I saw them together. Him and his new girlfriend, laughing and holding hands like teenagers, looking happier than I'd seen him look in years. He saw me too, and for just a second, our eyes met across the produce section. I expected to see some kind of recognition there, some acknowledgement of everything we'd shared together, some hint of sadness about how things had turned out. Instead, he just looked right through me like I was a complete stranger, then turned back to his girlfriend and said something that made her laugh. That's when it really hit me that this was actually over. Not just the marriage, but any chance of salvaging anything positive from 33 years of building a life together. He'd completely written me off, erased me from his story, and moved on like I'd never mattered to him at all.
Because the fact you went with Marcus, the impression he got, is that he doesn't matter to you at all, period. So you get what you get.
Standing there in that grocery store, watching my husband start a new chapter of his life with someone who would never understand what we'd been through together, I realized that maybe I'd been wrong about a lot of things.
No kidding. Kind of late, but no kidding.
Maybe the affair had mattered more than I thought it did.
Duh.
Maybe keeping it secret for all those years had been a bigger betrayal than I understood.
Duh. Captain Duh.
But even now, even seeing how everything has turned out, I still don't know what I was supposed to do differently. I still think that sometimes protecting the people you love means keeping painful truths to yourself.
But now it's going to cause problems in the future.
I still believe that 30 years of faithful marriage should count for something. even if it was built on a foundation that wasn't completely honest.
Okay, so basically disrespect, indifference, and chaos? No, and no.
The problem is, none of that matters anymore. Because while I was trying to protect everyone from the truth, he was falling in love with someone else's version of honesty. And now I'm the one who has to live with the consequences of choices I made when I was too young to understand what they would cost me decades later.
She makes it sound like she's like in her early teens. Are you serious? You're a whole grown woman who just came out of your 30s. You're not gonna try to convince me a woman in her 20s, his brain is not developed. But how come women in their 30s cheat? How come women in their 40s cheat? There are women in their 50s who cheat. So it can kill that noise. Whew, that's a long one. This is almost 2 hours long. That's the longest I've been doing for a long time in terms of live streaming. But other than that, folks, I want you to whatever questions, comments we want to talk about, let me know in the comments down below. I might get some sleep because I get up soon. Oh, if they can supposed to be a ride or dies, share, like, comment. Hope to see you around soon.